Welcome to Impact Makers Radio, featuring industry thought leaders sharing problem-solving insights to help grow your business and live the life you love. And here's your host, Stewart Andrew Alexander.
Hi and welcome to another Let's Talk Personal Injury conversation. And on this segment of the show, ladies and gentlemen, I have personal injury attorney Scott Fegley, founder of the Fegley Law Firm from Yardley, Pennsylvania. Now, Scott, who has a wealth of experience in the areas of employment law, business law, and personal injury, will be talking to you today about the importance of planning in case of an accidental injury. Now, I'm sure that's something that not many people out there think of. I certainly have never thought about that, Scott, so I'm really interested to see what you have to share with us today. So if you are one of the many people in the metropolitan Philadelphia area, might be a good idea just to stop what you're doing for a while, log out of Facebook, turn off Twitter, Instagram, or anything else you happen to be doing. And you might even want to pick up a notepad and pen as we listen in to what Scott has to share with us today. So, he's a very busy man. Let's not keep him waiting any longer. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Thank you, Stuart.
You are so welcome. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day. I think we've had about 4 or 5 attempts to get you on the show. So let's just jump feet first in and let's find out about the people who you help. So with that said then, Scott, can you just describe who are those people? What are the various types of situations they find themselves in when they come to you for your help?
Stuart, my clients come from all walks of life, and I have clients who are, blue-collar workers, executives, and they come to me after they've been involved in a serious injury, whether it is an automobile accident. Typically, many of my cases involve automobile claims, but they could also be slips and falls, pedestrian-type bicycle accidents, dog bites. Also handle defective products and even some accidental gun-related injuries.
Okay, thanks for that, Scott. It goes without saying that anything you share with us today is not legal advice or legal assistance. It's purely information. Now, I'm sure when you think about all of the misconceptions that you come across on a day-to-day basis, the ones where people come to you, they have preconceived notions that they believe to be true. They've done some research online, they've found things on Google, they've heard things from family, friends, and colleagues and believe them to be true. However, you have to spend time debunking those beliefs. With that said then, Scott, and with all of those misconceptions that are out there, what's the most common one that you come across while you're out there helping your clients?
Well, most people never consider that they'll ever be involved in a serious injury. I suppose it's the same as most people thinking that they'll never have a fire in their house and they don't have to know where the fire extinguishers are and know what to do when something like that happens. So, unfortunately, I have many people come into the office after a personal injury, and they're confused. They're receiving, medical bills. What do they do about their employment situation? So there are a host of questions that they have that they probably never thought about until an injury actually occurs. And that's why I think just as it's important to have a plan in case there's a fire or something in your home, it's important to have a plan when and if an accident should happen, so that you are prepared, so that especially if you're injured and to the extent that you can't do anything yourself, that you have other people who know what to do and can jump in.
Okay, so based on what you just shared with us then, Scott, and obviously keeping your client's confidentiality in mind, please share an example of how you've helped someone who came to you with those misconceptions and those challenges that you just described, and what transformational results you were able to gain for them.
Well, I've had several cases in which clients have come in and, again, they had not used the right insurance information. In many cases, for example, automobile accident cases, you use your automobile insurance, not your health insurance, as the primary payer of medical bills. people go into a hospital and they just hand over their health insurance card. So we had to straighten out situations like that. We had to make contact with insurance companies so that the insurance companies were not calling the client at home and bothering them while they're trying to recover. So, I mean, that's what the job of a personal injury attorney is to step in immediately to be that buffer between the client and the insurance companies and the medical providers, and to allow the client to rest. As we say here in our office, we give them peace of mind. We step in, we're that buffer, and the sooner that we can do that, the better.
As a reminder, today's topic is the importance of planning in case of an accidental injury. Now, with that in mind, and for those people in the metropolitan Philadelphia area who are wanting to know more, Scott, what's the most common but unknown pitfall that they might not, but 100% definitely should be aware of, no matter what situation they find themselves in, no matter what they think or what their attitude is towards preparing for personal injury?
Well, I think, again, with regard to the insurance issue, especially since automobile accidents are by far the most predominant type of injury, that it is very important for people to realize that when involved in an automobile accident, or even if they're a pedestrian hit by an automobile, anything connected with the use of an automobile, that they should first give their automobile insurance information as the information to pay their medical bills. Because so often, Stewart, I see people who have come in, who have given the health insurance company information, and it just can delay and frustrate and create a hassle, because then we have to work with two different insurance companies to one reimbursing the other, and it can delay and create a hassle that's not necessary. So people should know that they should use their auto insurance first in a case like that, and again, just be prepared.
How many years have you been a personal injury attorney, Scott? Just very briefly, how long?
Over 30 years. It's hard to believe. Sorry.
Wow, 30 years. So would it be safe to say that you've handled hundreds of cases, possibly even thousands?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So when you think about all of those people who you've helped, Scott, and even the ones that are going to come to you in the future, of all the questions that they ask you, what's the one question that they should ask but never do ask you? Can you think about what that could be, Scott?
Well, that's a good question, Stuart. In terms of what they should ask, I think it's very important to be comfortable with the personal injury attorney that you choose. You are going to have a working relationship with that person for probably several months minimum, and perhaps a few years or longer, depending on the type of case and how severe it is. So they want to ask questions to the attorney about not only the attorney's background and experience in this type of law, but just general questions to gather how they feel that they can work best with this person. People often go to an attorney because they're recommended by a friend or perhaps online, and they don't often gather information about the attorney to make sure that they're going to have a comfortable working relation with him or her.
Fantastic. So those questions that they should ask when they're thinking about hiring a personal injury attorney, what would be one or two questions that they should ask that attorney to determine whether they should move forward or not?
Well, I think it's important to ask the attorney how many personal injury cases he or she has handled, and what types of cases. Again, because a fender bender with some soft tissue injury can be fairly straightforward, but then if it's a serious injury with much more serious injuries involved, it can involve a lot more work, time, questions. There can be insurance issues, complicated insurance issues. So they want to know how many cases and what types in particular a personal injury attorney has handled, so they're comfortable that this person is equipped to handle their case as well.
So, Scott, I would like to just spend a moment to dispel this myth, this perception of personal injury lawyers to some part being ambulance chases. So if you would then, Scott, can you tell us a little bit about your background, your education, and your experience as it relates to the topic of personal injury?
Sure. Thanks, Stuart. I graduated from Lafayette College in Easton, PA in 1984, and then I went on to Villanova University School of Law. I graduated from there in 1987. I've been in private practice since then. The first 12 years of my career I spent working with law firms that handled personal injury from the defense side. So insurance companies hired my employers, and then I was assigned to work on cases to defend people. So in that respect, I learned personal injury from the defense side and how insurance companies evaluated cases, again, of all degrees of severity. In 2002, I decided I wanted to go out on my own into my own practice and be my own businessman and entrepreneur. Started my own firm then and have been handling personal injury cases on the plaintiff side since then. Again, handling many different types of cases from fender benders to wrongful death claims and again, even product liability, dog bites, and things of that nature. So I've had a wide variety of experience on both sides as both defense attorney, plaintiff's attorney. I've seen personal injury cases from every possible personal injury angle that you can imagine. In terms of your question about ambulance chasing, it is unfortunate, and there are always, I suppose, professionals in every profession that don't do things the way that perhaps they should be done. My clients most of all of my personal injury clients are personal referrals. I do some advertising. I think almost every attorney does these days, but not the big flashy billboards or. I'm not sitting here listening to a radio scanner from a police station or something like that. All of my referrals and personal injury cases are referred to me by friends, former clients, people who trust me, who know that they're referring a person in a difficult situation to somebody who can be trusted to take care of them compassionately and confidentially.
So, Scott, if you could imagine waking up on any day of the week, it's 6 a.m., 7 a.m., whatever the time may be in your part of the world, and you have a full day ahead of you helping those personal injury cases that come to you on a regular basis. Now, with a day like that ahead of you, and after over 30 years in the industry, helping so many people, how does Scott Fegley feel on a day like that? Are you still motivated to do this, Scott?
Of course. If I didn't or wasn't, I wouldn't do this type of work anymore. But I have a number of clients that I am helping on a daily basis. I don't have interaction with the clients necessarily on a daily basis, but given the number of personal injury cases I handle, there is always something going on. I think that's part of what makes my job interesting. What does motivate me is that there's no one day that's ever quite the same. So I may have a deposition one day, I may have a court appearance the next. Occasionally the cases go to trial. So every day is different, and I keep in touch. I think that's something that I do very much pride myself upon, is making sure my clients know what's going on in their cases. Unfortunately, the legal process doesn't move quickly. So there may be periods of time that there is really nothing going on, but I keep them informed and make sure that they know where things stand.
So I got two more questions for you, Scott. So I'd just like you to picture the kinds of people who come to you for your help, and they're wanting to know more about planning for an accidental injury. Now, with that in mind, Scott, what would be your final thoughts that you'd like to leave them with before we move on to our last question for today?
Sure. I'd recommend that they prepare something simple. Simple as a 3x5 or 4x6 card that has some basic contact information on it. Of course, your personal injury attorney or your family attorney contact info, phone number, email address, You should have your automobile insurance, again, either the agent or the claims number info, contact, phone number, email, address on that 3x5 or 4x6 card. It may be also helpful to put on that card whether you have any personal medical problems or allergies, even your blood type. I know I carry in my wallet a card that has my blood type on it, because if you are in an accident, especially if you are injured to the extent that you're not conscious or you can't help yourself, then it's going to be very important for someone else to have this information. You can carry it in your glove compartment, give it to a close friend that you trust. Obviously, if you're married, your spouse should know where this card is so that they can give that information. Whoever is going to be the person most likely to get that first call from the police or ambulance personnel if an accident like that happens. And in particular, people should try, if they're able or if they're not, to have someone else be aware of this, but taking pictures at an accident scene is so critical these days. And everybody with cell phones and cameras, now is more than ever before, they can easily document an accident scene and get valuable information that helps the personal injury attorney figure out, just what happened. And it's so much more valuable to have pictures than, the statements of witnesses, because witnesses often don't see everything and get facts wrong.
So then, finally, Scott, if there is somebody out there who wants to know more about planning in case of an accidental injury or anything else to do with personal injury, where can they find you, Scott? Where would they be able to reach you?
Well, our office phone number is area code 215-493-8287. We are also on the web at fegleylaw.com. That's FEGLEYLAW.com. They can always email me directly at scott@fegleylaw.com. We have a Facebook page, and you can also follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter.
Okay, thanks for that, Scott. I'll ensure that your contact details are on the website in your show notes. But unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. Once more, ladies and gentlemen, that was personal injury attorney Scott Fegley. Thank you so much for sharing so generously with us today, Scott. You have certainly demonstrated that you are a true educator, advocate, and trustworthy advisor for your client's success. So thank you.
Thank you again, Stewart. It's been a pleasure being on your show.
You're so welcome, Scott. And I'd also like to say a big thank you to you, the listener. Thank you for joining us on this, what I can only describe as a very insightful and informative conversation with one of the top personal injury attorneys in Yardley, Pennsylvania today. Again, as a reminder, his name was Scott Fegley. Don't forget his name. Do check him out. Give him a call. Visit his website. Whatever you do, I am 100% sure that you're going to be in good hands. So that's it, folks. Again, my name is Stewart Andrew Alexander, and we'll be back shortly with some more leading personal injury professionals in this, our series of Let's Talk Personal Injury Conversations. So, until then, take care, have a great day, and we'll talk real soon.
Thank you for tuning in to Impact Makers Radio. To listen to all past, present, and future industry thought leaders and trendsetters, visit us at impactmakersradio.com.